Ooh, hey, what's going on, everybody? We are now live today, the Saturday 6th, I think, or 5th. Is it 6th or 5th? It's a 6th. Okay, so today we're gonna be looking at more Subway Surfer. I have my game from last week right here. We're gonna be looking into implementing the quick swipe mechanics that we've put out this week in terms of videos, and then just have the player move around just like in the game, and eventually start creating the maps. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm actually going to pull up the stream on the other screen. Won't be looking at it too much. I need to concentrate and actually make the code work. But yeah, that's basically what we're going to be doing today. Let me open up Sublime. Hopefully I still have my code for the swipe, and yep, it's right here. So I'm going to be implementing the same exact thing I implemented this week in a video. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yes, my name is Mikhail. Doing super good, guys. I'm going to jump right into making the games though, because we need to get going with this thing. I remember last time I've created something called mobile input. I'm actually going to change, well, I'm not going to change it. It's going to stay right here, but I'm going to be changing the code inside of it. It's 7:30 a.m. What? It's 10 here. I woke up early, but I had family come over, so the stream is a little bit delayed. So the way we actually implemented this week is we had booleans for everything. So swipe left, swipe right, swipe up, and finally swipe down. And we had public properties to actually access those. So public boolean, and then we had tap, return tap. Oh, this is a get. So it's gonna take a little bit of getting used to, because I'm off a week of work, and when I work I use a Mac, so all my keybinds are wrong, and I also don't code in this language. Like stupid error like right now are gonna get me quite often. Yeah, this is a property, I don't need this. You know what, we're gonna save sometimes. I'm gonna be reading the comment and I'll just paste this right here. Private vector2 swipe delta. The audio is very low. Let me try and fix that. Actually, I think it's my microphone. It's actually on the maximum. I'm sorry if it's low. I don't really have any way to fix it. You made a fund. I'd like to see it. How do you fast forward physics in Unity? Timescales become glitchy after, okay, yeah. What you want to do is create your own timescale. So create another class, and actually every frame in the update you do your own time, dot time, plus equal delta time times the scale, your own custom scales. So it's really, you would just have to create another class. So you guys are saying that the audio is too low. Let me try and fix that. Like I don't really have anything else to fix it, unfortunately. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to deal with that. It sounds good. Okay, let's keep going, guys. So that's our swipe right here. We have boolean for everything, and the mechanic was quite simple. Is we had two vector2. One was a delta swipe, and the other one was the swipe, the start touch. Mobile input had an instance. We're gonna keep that actually, and every single time, every single frame, I was resetting everything, putting everything back on false. So let's actually take all our boolean, swipe up, and make that equal to false in the end. Now, if we were to click, or if we were to actually use the input.touch, we would use the position of our mouse or our touch and store it inside of start touch. So I have the code on the right here. I'll just be copying this because I can, why not? I had some regions for mobile inputs, and I also had another region for standalone. So that's on PC, that's on Linux, Mac. Standalone inputs. Sorry guys, it's gonna take a little bit of time before I warm up. So if we have at least one touch, then we're gonna be looking, what is that touch right now? What phase is that touch in? If that touch is in the phase began, that means we are on the very first frame that this touch is actually on the screen. So we're going to say tap is equal to true and actually set the position of start touch using again the same exact one. If we try to do multi-touch in that, just know that only the first finger in the screen is going to be the one swiping. The second one is going to be useless. And then we also add a else if that touch is getting off the screen, so if that touch dot phase is equal to ended, or there's also another one that could happen, input touch dot phase is equal to cancel. Cancel usually happens when you're being tapped out of your application. So maybe like if you have some overlay apps such as Messenger, if you click on Messenger accidentally, it's not considered as a ended touch. It's actually considered as a cancelled touch. Okay. Now if that happens, we're gonna have a function that resets everything. Of course, we don't have that just yet, but we'll have it quite soon. Now, same thing if it's actually the mouse. We need to put that for the mouse because obviously we're not going to be testing the device just yet. So if input get mouse button left click, if it's actually the frame we're pressing down, then we're going to say tap is equal to true and start touch is equal to input mouse position. Now, if it's actually else if it's actually when we release the finger, then we do the exact same thing as we did earlier. So reset. Cool, so we've got this little script right here. That's only for taking inputs. Before we go any further, let's add the private void reset so we stop having errors. So once we have all of these, once we have the start touch position, we need to know how far are we now from the actual start position. So if you're dragging your finger, if you drag your finger like 150 pixels towards the right, we need to check what is the distance in between where we started and where we are right now. So we're gonna have a nice little function that calculate the distance. It's not a function actually, it's simply gonna be some calls. We're gonna start by resetting the swipe delta to 0. Now if start touch is not equal to vector2.0, then if input touches length is not equal to 0, we're going to say that swipe delta is now equal to input.touch. Take the position of it right now minus the position of where it was at the beginning. Else if is only for standalone, so else if input get mouse button 0. So you remember that get mouse button actually gets returns you a true every single frame that it's actually being pressed. Input mouse position. We're almost done with the boring stuff, guys. Then we're gonna go and do the level generation. Actually tweak the movement a little bit before that. Right now I'm just copying over from what we had this week in the video, so it's a little bit boring, but we're almost done. Check if we're beyond the dead zone. So assuming that we're past a certain limit, we can go ahead and just say that there was a swipe. So swipe delta magnitude is bigger than say 100. That's 100 pixels, so it's not really that far on the screen. If we go past that point, and that means we do have a swipe. So which direction is it? Now we have 4 choice: up, down, left, right. So to test this out, I was actually just going to copy this over and read some comments. That's a simple algorithm I went through. So you take the actual x and the y of the vector 2. Now you check which one is the biggest. If it's x, then it's either left or right. If it's y, it's either up or down. And once you know which one you're going for, you simply check, was the x negative? If it was negative, then it's actually left. If it's positive, it's actually right. Same thing for the y-axis. Let's read some comments. Hello from Venezuela. Cool, there's like people from everywhere. Guys, let me know if the audio is actually clear now. Well, not clear, but maybe just not low. Have I checked Sky Dancer in the Play Store? I have not checked that out. Hey, what's up, Sada? Oh, Jafiz, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We're currently working on this thing right here on some simple inputs. We had that this week in the videos, but right now I'm re-implementing it in our Subway Surfer. And quickly, let's actually implement the reset. The reset was quite simple. We said swipe delta is equal to vector2 dot 0. And also we had start touch to change as well. So start touch is equal to swipe delta, and that's also equal to 0. At this point, we can actually get everything we want through these properties. So we can go back in our code we had last week and actually change what we had right here. That was a method. Now we're using a property, so we don't need to have these parentheses anymore. Having that done, we're going to go back in our game, try it out. And it seems to work. So our tap is back. Our tap is working. That's some simple stuff. Now, what did we use last week to actually check our left and right? I'm going to go under the player motor and have a look. Okay, so here it is. We're using get key down Q and also get key down E to go from left to right. We're going to be changing that for mobile input, swipe left. Actually, we have to do instance swipe left. And same thing here, so mobile input, instance, and swipe right. Now, where exactly is our... Okay, so here it is. Our mobile input is in the scene. As you can tell, it's right here. We don't have to put it anywhere because there's a public static instance that is being actually assigned at the beginning, so right here. This is actually taken care of. Now, if we press play and actually try swiping around, I am not getting any result. How could that be? Let's go do some debugging. So we put everything back on false. Now if we do get a swipe, we say swipe left is equal to true, swipe right is equal to true. Everything happens in the update. Well, that's curious. So what I'm going to be doing right here is I'm going to be debugging using a debug.log and check the swipe delta every frame. I really have issue with English. I gotta speak more English. So it feels like it's actually being reset every frame, even though it's not supposed to be reset every frame. So what could be wrong? So if it's ended or if it's cancelled, that's fine. If we're releasing the mouse, that's also fine. And this is only if we have a swipe delta magnitude above 100. So technically we should not be resetting it every frame. Maybe the start touch is being assigned wrongly. Oops. So let's see, start touch. When we do a get mouse button down, so that's only when we click once. If start touch is not equal to 0, then we proceed. That's cool. Alright, so I have some kind of flaw in my logic right here. Oh no, it's actually good. It's actually working. So why the hell is it not being reflected here? Let me read a little bit of comment to clear my mind a bit. Yeah, that's Subway Surfer. We're currently working on it right now. New York City, audio is fine. Thank you. Hello from Turkey. That's cool. Yeah, Antonio, we're gonna be doing like Subway Surfer, the real one. We're gonna be doing it in incremental. I'm gonna call it incremental simply because we're gonna be doing like the main stuff, moving around, generating the level. And then I'm going to be breaking it down to a real tutorial on the channel. That's like the live stream where we figure things out. And then I'll be breaking it down. That's the part 1. And then eventually move on to making more mechanics such as the Facebook connectivity, all the sharing stuff. You see, that would be part 2. And then of course we'd be testing that out on the live stream, but then creating another tutorial that is more clean, more user-friendly, where we don't spend so much time on problems. Can you do a pickup collection game tutorial something? I don't even know what this is. Upload the code. We're going to be uploading the code at the very end when we're done. Let's see. Yeah, it's shitty Unity shit. Exactly. Well, Antonio, I'm quite sad that you're leaving. To be honest, I'm not really sad. Gotta figure out why this swipe thing doesn't work though. Feel like my move is being called, so let me do a debug.log on that move. Say I'm gonna be debugging the result of that boolean. Yeah, no, we do get our move because I got a true right here. And I've got a false now. So technically we are moving, I just don't see it in the game. But our inputs are fine. Yeah, I'm gonna be sharing the script, guys, but only at the end. Yes, you're gonna be able to use them. When are the video gonna be uploaded? I'm not quite sure. We gotta be finishing this thing first before we upload videos about it. So desired line plus plus, that's cool, that's cool. Are we still moving? Guys, I don't even mind if you copy 100% of it. I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter. There's like no way for me to find out who copies and what. The whole point of this like channel is you can just take whatever you want. We're just coding for some fans. Okay, so we do get this. That's cool. Target position. Maybe target position is not being assigned. What's lane distance? It's 3. 3 left. Going to be removing this line. Kind of bothers me. Oh guys, I just remember what's going on here. It's actually moving. I was just not, I just didn't know because the camera is attached to it. Oh, you know what? I'm going to get rid of that problem right away. I'm going to detach the camera. We're going to be creating a quick camera motor for this thing. But yeah, no, it was working all this time. God damn. The noob live says, I'm trying to learn Unity, but when I start watching tutorial, I lose interest. What do you recommend? It's really simple. You just gotta be picking something that you want to do. Like, you're learning Unity, there's a reason why you're learning Unity. You want to make a game, right? Just pick that game and try to build it small pieces by small pieces. So just look up tutorial on how to do simple things for your game, and just go from there. That's how I did it, and I didn't find it boring, but at the same time I did not want to learn to code in the first place. I was just trying to make a game like without knowing how to code, but eventually I picked it up like bits of it every time. Okay, so we have a camera motor right here. I'm going to create a public transform look at. That's going to be my player most of the time, I guess. Sometime we could swap it around, and simply create a private void update. Transform the position is going to be equal to look at dot position plus an offset. And I'll also like to make sure that I always keep my camera in the center, so the offset is going to be, say, nothing in X, maybe 3 meter in Y, and 10 in Z. Why not? Or minus 10 in Z. We gotta be behind the player. So I'll be using this. Actually, vector 3 desired position is equal to that. And then before I feed that to my transformer position, I'll make sure to reset the the X back to 0. So my camera never really move on the x-axis, so never really move left to right like this. It always stays at 0. So we've got our script right here. Is it going to load in my engine? Nope. Try to save it again. And here's my lookout. So player is being dragged in here. We're going to keep the same offset and have a look at this. Is that how we want it? Definitely not. We want this to be a little bit higher. We're looking at 5. Maybe 5 in Y would be good. And here we go. Okay, so that's our new camera motor. Now if I move left and right, technically I should not have any problem seeing it. And it does work. Let's make sure we hit a reset on that so we have the brand new values we have in our script. Oh, whoops, I also reset the player. Here we go. So we have left and right just like this. Also in the game, in the Subway Surfer game, it goes much faster than that, so we're going to be changing the player again. Let's put the speed to say 10 meters a second. Should be fine. I remember I played the game a lot this week in the bus ride to work. I was like, oh, I gotta figure out how everything works. So I played the game a lot in the bus and tried to figure out, the speed, all those values. And that seems to be closer to it. Maybe not like 100% accurate, but hey, we have a start. Now what we're gonna be doing is a jump. We need to have a jump in here. So to have a jump, we're going to go back to our very famous vertical velocity. At first, it's going to be equal to nothing, and then let's go down there, do a private float jump force. That I like to set on something like 14. Let me read some comments real quick, just catching up with you guys, because you are amazing. So Picabot Gaming says, start with the basic. And if you don't like videos, you can start off manual or ebook. I guess that's also a good point. Doing some blog posts have been more useful to me than most of the things I've read or other videos. Audio is fine. Okay, cool. Can you tell me how to make this in FPS camera? I mean, if you want to make anything like FPS, you just take the same camera we did, just put the offset on 0, or just don't put an offset, just remove that. And there you go, you have an FPS. So basically, if you're saying, okay, what I'm saying is, if you want to make a 2D mining game, what I would start by doing is like, okay, so how exactly do you want your player to be moving? Look up how to move your player, just like in Motherload or something like that. I don't know like what idea you have in mind, but start with just moving the player around. Just start with little things like that, and also do art at the same time. It's gonna pass time. It's gonna make you enjoy it more. Go in Photoshop, especially if it's in 2D, it's not that complicated to pick up. If it's in 3D, then you need to learn the whole software around it, which kind of sucks. But hey, if you're making a game in 2D, go in Paint and use pixel art. Okay, cool. So we were at the step where we made this jump. Alright. So right here we calculate everything, that's cool. We do a move toward, which gives us our position in X. You know what? Target position is equal to 0, okay. Our current position, moving towards this one, speed, that gives us only the value we want in X. In terms of Y, I'd like to actually do something else, so something different. Hey, Studio, a shout out to you, I guess. I don't know how to do shout out, but hey, shout out to you, Studio. So our position right here contains a good value in X. Now, this contains the good X. Calculate Y. Y is the jump, so up and down. To calculate the jump, we usually have something quite simple. When I make a character controller, I have like this whole structure to make a player jump. I guess we did it, yes, not yesterday, but the week before. We actually done that the week before in the Sunday Fun Day. Let me pick up my whole script. I really enjoy like having so much project laying around. Thank you so much all you have done. My idea for game is very much like this. Now you're helping me understand a better way to develop it. Hey George, I hate to say this, but this might not be the best way to develop it. We're gonna try and make it more understandable during the real tutorials, but right now we're just figuring things out. So let's just have a little bit of fun, ask question, just experiment a bit. Also, guys, we do have art. One of my good friends actually made art for the game, and it's actually it should be live, not in the game right now, but he sent it to me through Gmail, so we could implement that at the end of this tutorial. It's also art you're going to be having access to when we release a real video. We're going to have like a package containing pretty much everything for free, because we're that cool. Amazing. So just give me like 2 seconds so I can actually read this thing. Let's see. Apply gravity. I'm going to be stealing that from myself. Hey, can I send you donation by PayPal? You can just use Super Chat. Thanks for even considering that. Okay, cool. So that's the code I had in the other project. Terminal velocity is not something we're going to be needing, simply because we won't fall. I mean, we won't fall that much. You can only fall like to a certain extent. So we're gonna need a gravity. Usually I like to put that on, say, like 14 private float gravity, or 21. I have some hard-coded values in my head. Thumbs up for AOC. What is AOC? Are you talking about AOE? Age of Empire? I actually played a little bit of that yesterday. Had a good time. What was the other coding software you copied my code from? It's actually Sublime. It's just like, it's a text editor I have, and I just open. It's super convenient because they have like a shell option, so I can just go, say, right here, pick up any code, and be like, oh, open in Sublime Text. It's what I use when I develop web applications. Okay, so my vertical velocity is being decreased every time. That's fine. We are going to need a function to check if we're on the floor, guys. That is the boring part, but private boolean is grounded. And you know what? We also done that. We've also done that in the Sunday Fun Day. So let me be. I'm just gonna go like scavenge code I had. Grounded. Okay. For this game, since we're on mobile, we're only going to be using one raycast. We don't want this to get too expensive on the CPU, so one raycast is enough. And we're going to be returning false, so we're not grounded if we hit anything. If we don't hit anything, now if we do hit that raycast in the center, we're going to be returning true. So return true. Now we're going to have to change a lot of parameters actually. So do we have a controller? We don't have a controller. How did we move this? We actually moved this using a stupid transformed position. That's not good enough. I must have been really tired last week because using a transformed position like this is not going to cover any collision whatsoever. We have to change this for a character controller. So private character controller in a start. Do we have a start? We do not have a start. Let's create one. So private void start. Controller is equal to get component character controller. So let's see. So move towards not going to be accurate anymore. Since we cannot actually set the direct position of our transform, since we're using character controller, you can't just like do a transformed position. Well, we could, but that would be like some kind of hack, which we definitely don't want in this case. Let's actually try that. So I'm going to try out like something quite weird. And that's going to be move Z forward, which I'm going to skip for now. So let's do position times time that delta time. It's going to mess up our lanes a little bit. I have the feeling it's going to mess up our lanes. I'm not quite sure if it will, but we'll figure it out. Let's see. Hey, so why do you make everything private? Just so I can actually, you know, I only need stuff. I don't know how to explain that. I mean, you just put everything private so you make sure you keep some good programming practices. In case you're actually from an outside script and you actually you're trying to read stuff from inside this one, say, but that's really hard to explain actually. You keep everything private just for the whole encapsulation principle. This way, say, imagine I'm just looking up, say, the mobile input instance. I only see the public properties. I don't see the other five fields, basically. Just keeping things clean is what I meant to say. Cool. Okay, so to calculate the y, we're going to say if is grounded. If we are grounded, let's go ahead and say vertical velocity is equal to -1. We're keeping just a very small gravity on that. So in case our raycast actually ends before the floor, say right here, it gradually go back to touching the floor. That is if we are grounded. If we're not grounded, we're going to go ahead and do what we wrote right here. Also, we need to cover the jump, which is a simple thing right here. So if, how do we jump? Oh yeah, we do we do a swipe up. So if mobile input instance swipe up, then we go ahead and we jump by doing a vertical velocity is equal to jump force. Okay, so let's try this code as soon as we fix this thing. So controller bound center. I don't remember what y array stands for. It's actually the height. So we want to have the controller that bounds dot not center dot bounds. Can we actually do y? Oh, extent y. It's more complicated than that. Okay. So my x is fine right here. My y is not fine, and my z is fine. So for the y, we need to take the actual position of the controller. So bounds center dot y minus the extent. So at this point, if I just try to visualize it really quick. Sorry guys, it's gonna get a little bit weird in here. What we do is we say controller dot bound dot center dot y, which takes the actual like center right here, as you can tell, and then we say minus the extent in y, which gives you minus this amount. This way we end up at the very bottom right here. Now we need to go a little bit up again, so a little bit up to make sure our raycast doesn't go through the floor. So on top of that, on top of this complicated number already, we're gonna add like a very small 0.2f or something like that raycast. And then we cast our ray towards the floor, so minus vector 3 dot up, or vector 3 dot down if you want. Out it, we need to add it in a second. Actually, we don't really need to add it because we don't need data from the floor. So let me just remove that. Now distance grounded, the last parameter is actually like how far is your raycast going. In our case, our raycast needs to go at least 0.2. So at least 0.2 plus the actual distance, we'll say 0.1. That sounds fair, kind of. Well, let's give this a try. Or you know what? Let's not, because we don't have floor. We need to add a plane first. So there is no character controller. That is quite true. We're going to remove the capsule collider, add a character controller on top of it. And we almost had a jump. That's our jump right here. Let's do left. Okay, so left, right is messed up, but our jump is actually working quite good. Well, except this whole part right here. I think the raycast is actually might be a little bit too big. Let's do 0.5. Or sorry, 0.5, like that. What about a bigger array? Yeah, we definitely have some trouble right here with the is grounded. We're gonna have to go and have a look at it real quick. Let me read some comments first, just making sure I catch every question. So private is better, won't matter much, but it's safe to keep it private. It's actually not safe. It's not a matter of being safe. It's really a matter just of being clean. Because once it's compiled, it doesn't really matter in the end. Um, Plus, with reflection, nothing is safe. Even though like you have private stuff and public stuff, both are exposed because of C# reflection. You have this idea to make a 2D game where the player is in one position and just mines the mountain and get mineral. Sell it to upgrade its tool. Um, in your case, since like this is literally just like Motherlode, I would just go on YouTube because there has to be someone that actually done it before, like Motherlode C# tutorial. Or maybe nobody has done it actually. Hmm. Hey, look, that's me out of nowhere. That's also me out of nowhere. That's also me out of nowhere. Um, yeah, actually, I don't know. Hmm. That's a good point. Like, there's no real tutorial about this game in specific, but just look at well, look at just upgrading your weapon first. Do the easy part, and then look into generating a map out of sprites. So something like generating map generation using sprites. There has to be something cool out there that you can use. And there also has to be a Motherlode tutorial out there, like I'm pretty sure of it. But yeah, like German says, split it into small pieces. It's gonna be way easier to do. If the controller is grounded, actually expert, I'd like not to use controller is grounded because that's the one from Unity and it's actually quite buggy with physics. What is the Visual Studio version? It's the newest one. I think it's 2017. If like you're asking about the theme, I think I'm using Solarize Dark. Can you do a combo system like in Tutorial Unity Sistema de Combo Animator? I don't know what this is. I'm not gonna take any more projects as of right now since we have to finish this Subway Surfer. I have to create the multiplayer tutorial as well, something that is more like I'm not really announcing it thus far, but it's gonna be something huge. So I gotta finish these two things first. Do you know how I can save data in a list? I've made an app using lists, but I've tried to save and it's totally messed up. Yeah, I mean, you can just do a for each on it and then save it, say in the player pref, or save it to a file. So you open a stream writer, and for every single element you have in your list, you also add a new line. It really depends how exactly you want to save your things. There's like so many ways. If you want to have secured save, then you have to put it on a server somewhere. It's really a big, it's a big mess. It's not a big mess, it's just like a big question that we can't answer in like a second. This does not contain a good X actually. Well, this is where we should be in X, but does not contain the good X. So at this point we really have to check. I'm going to improvise a little bit, guys. totally just improvising right here. That should do the job, technically. Let's try this out. Yeah, multiplayer it's of course using the low level API. I don't want to go for the high one because that's just using the high level API is literally just saying, hey, I don't really want to learn how to code. I just want to make things work super fast and be super limited. So no, we're using the high level API. And the way I have it set up, it might require two servers because one of them is like a master server where you have your friend list, you have everybody you can contact, you can create your game, you can list all the game, and then you have a separate server for your specific game. So just see it as like in League of Legends or in any big game that there is out there. They have like a big server that contains every communication mechanic, and also start, join, create games. And then you have a server specific for playing that game with the 10 other players or 9 other players you have, or, you know, that kind of stuff. Also, can you make a multiplayer prefab selection in network lobby? I don't think I can make anything that is based off Unity network lobby, simply because I'd rather go for the low level API. Can I study game development at university? Yes, it is now possible at a bunch of places. I don't have any, like, I don't really know what's around you because I don't know where you live. If you're looking for something online, definitely Full Sail University is the best place. I heard, and I'm not sponsored to say that, but I've had a lot of people on the channel that comes and that say they are from Full Sail and they seem to know what they're talking about. So. Okay, so am I ever grounded? Am I ever grounded? The movement in X seems to be okay. I mean, it's gonna take a little bit of tweaking, but eventually it's gonna be good. I'm going to check real quick if I'm grounded, if I'm ever like not grounded. So, right now I am grounded. Let's collapse. Let's try to jump. The jump doesn't seem to work. Why? I have a feeling that it's not actually jumping since how to say that? On the next frame, it says something like, okay, so, oh well, actually, position Y, vertical. What is that doing in here? It should be outside. That's why it's not jumping. I'm stupid. My bad. You want me to use debug.xray to see what kind of ray? Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to do that. I actually enjoy it quite a lot. I might. And by I might, I'm actually going to do it right now. To make it a little bit more clean, even though this code is disgusting in terms of being clean, it's going to get good eventually, guys. We're going to actually store it in array, so that's my ground ray. And I'm going to say it's equal to... What are the constructors? So I have origin and direction. Okay, origin is this thing, and direction is vector3 dot down. So let's take all of that, put it in here, and then when we do our physical raycasts, all we have to do is physics dot raycast and send the ray. So ground ray. Okay, so something like that. I also like keeping everything on a single line. So Carmelo says, aren't we going to use a moving environment? I don't know yet. I really don't know yet. I mean, I know like the reason why you would use a moving environment, and I also know the reason why you wouldn't. we have to think about it a little bit. I mean, it doesn't matter. Either way, if we move the player, we're never going to be breaking, we're never going to get to a point where we break the float limit. And if we move the environment, I have a feeling that if we move the environment, I'm going to mess up, like in case I want to have physics in my game, which is not a plan right now. But if we ever want to have physics, like just object in the background that falls because of physics, maybe like a bunch of boxes that falls down, and they have physics behavior. If we have a moving environment, we're just scrapping all of that out. But again, we don't need physics to make that happen. We can also create some custom animations. So yeah, we could do moving environment. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. And what was I doing right here? Oh yeah, debug.raw ray. We were just drawing the ray for fun. What is this? This is a mess. Hey, that's a really bad joke, to be honest. So we have debugged the draw array right here from Unity Engine, and you don't have you don't have any overload that takes in a ray. Like you can't simply just, you're trying to draw a ray, but you can't do draw me this ray because they don't have an overload for it. However, they have an overload for start and direction. So technically you could do ground ray dot start, or sorry, origin, and ground ray dot direction. That is so bad. We're gonna have to deal with it. But yeah, that's weird. That's alright, guys. Okay, so we're moving left, right, and we jump. There is one more thing. We can also move in the air, but it seems to be a little bit slow. Is it slow? It's actually the same speed. It just looks a lot slower. So definitely there is some things to do tweak with this movement. One thing I'd like to do before we go into like any more tweaking, I'd like to actually implement the fact that you can fast fall in Subway Surfer. So I'm gonna go right here, say if mobile input instance swipe down. If we're swiping down, then vertical velocity is equal to say minus jump force. Why not? So let's do that real quick. Yeah, that's it right here. So that's the move they have in the game. I'm going to boot Nox real quick and actually look at the comments. So let's have a look. Unity is the only engine I use. No. No, I use a bunch of engines. But I really just like to teach and use Unity. I also use Unreal to some extent. I've tried out Lumberyard, but I'm not a big fan of it. I'd rather just use Unity. Plus my code base is all in C#, so if I ever need something, I can always look back at my old projects and I have it. If I move on to another engine, then I have to translate my code. Makes me lose some time. Expert guy says, interesting question. When we are jumping, we must be jumping over an obstacle. We must be jumping over an obstacle. So the extra space you left for raycast can allow the player to double jump. That is quite true. You are right. Something I didn't think about. So he's saying that we could jump on top of an obstacle if we're about to fall on it. Yeah, we can get rid of that using layers. But there is some layer we want to keep, such as, you know, if he gets on a train, that you also want to be able to jump on the train. That is something we'll be looking at. So many ads in that game. And it's extremely laggy for me right now for some reason. So as you guys can tell, there is a fast fall right there. So you can actually fall super fast. You can, I forgot about that. You can also slide down and crouch. Something we need to add as well. And this thing is way too laggy for me to look at. I have this game, so when I buy a thing and activate it, get it, and then restart the game and it's gone. What? I'm not quite sure I understand your question, Alvin. Andrew says, I understand what you're saying about the high-level API, that it's cheap. I'm not saying that it's cheap. I'm just saying that it's not going to give you the flexibility you want. And as a picky, I'm not a picky programmer, but in terms of like limitation, I get quite mad at limitation. So like you're gonna make your old platformer in 2D, and then you're gonna run into a problem that you can't fix because of that. Maybe it's not sure. Maybe you'll be able to do it completely, and you'll get a good product. But in my case, since I want to make something that has like 2 servers, I know that it's gonna get complicated at one point, and that I'll have to use the low-level API. I like your approach though, because you want to learn, and you're actually going for the high-level one first, which is totally like it's good. It's good. Once you want to switch to low-level API, you're going to be able to at least know what's going on a little bit. So you should get the information of the object which is hit by the ray and then do a check. We can also do that, yes. So, but that would involve like tagging our floor as floor. But that would be a good way to actually try it out. Yeah, using layer mask would be better though. You're the motherfucking star boy. That's okay. I'm okay with that. In the next stream, Nerd tries to use Unreal and fails with viewer. Well, if it's with you guys, I don't mind. If I failed with you, it's gonna be fine. If I failed by myself, then that's just it's gonna be bad. Hey, hello from Norway. Hello from Canada, the land of the Queen. I'm just kidding. We don't have a queen here. We only have a really handsome prime minister. So where were we? We were at the step where maybe sliding would be good. Maybe sliding, or we can start like generating a little bit of the environment. I don't know how long this stream has been going for. Oh, almost an hour. We're gonna do at least another 30 minutes of coding this thing, and then I'll move on to a really small developing session. No, not developing, but debugging session. Then I go on with my Saturday. Okay, cool. Let's start moving the level a little bit. Let's start looking at generating the world. For the whole world generation, I'll actually test it out in another scene. So I create a new scene with Control and N, then Control and S to save. This is going to be the gym. And in the gym, we are going to be looking at spawning a level that actually moves by itself. So we're going to try and keep everything into a single script. I'll call that the level right here, a new empty game object, and under it there's going to be the level generator or level manager. Alright, so there's going to be a phase at the beginning where the level doesn't move. That's going to be during the whole, when you're at the menu screen. That's going to be a boolean saying is active, could be good, is moving, is equal to false. Private void start, or actually private void awake. We're going to say instance is equal to this. I'm going to create a really cheap singleton right here again. Public static level manager instance. Let's do a set and get. And then we can move on to generating a level. So private void generate piece. That could be good. So obviously, since we're going to be like generating a infinite level, we have to go and take like a modular approach to it. So every time I call generate piece, I want to create a new object at, say, we don't want to be using a specific position in the Y since we're moving the object. So that makes me think, do we want to move every object? Do we want to move every object every frame? We're going to be moving only like the parent object, and at one point, if it goes too far, then we're simply going to reset the parent position and also reset every object inside of it, which is going to be seamless, and you're not going to be able to see it during the game. So generate piece, private float, z position. We're going to start at 0. And then how long is going to be a piece, we still don't know. I have a feeling that we could actually create pieces that are going to be longer than the others. So let's do private float. No, we can't do that. Okay. So I'm just like I'm going to go ahead and just go crazy a little bit right now. Just try stuff out. Hey, Alright Gaming, you're going crazy. Yeah, my Visual Studio is in French. That's what I speak on a daily basis. That's also why I sound like a retard. So I'll be using another object called piece, and I'll be storing all the possible pieces into a list. So public list for pieces. Declare it from the get-go, and then maybe have like some kind of random stuff in here. So maybe float random is equal to I feel like the level generation is going to be like way more complex than that. You're singing Starboy. I don't know what Starboy. I mean, I know that there's a song called Starboys, but I thought it was only for little girls. I'm sorry. Pieces.count. Okay. And then we create a new piece. So let's do something like game object geo is equal to instantiate. Let's instantiate pieces. Can I do that? Is that legal? I think that's legal. Okay, we're gonna try that. Once this is done, geo that transform the position is equal to a new vector 3. We're spawning on the z-axis, so that's actually, let's do vector 3 times forward. No, dot forward times the z position, and then we look at this like piece p is equal to pieces random z position is now going to be plus equal to p dot length. Okay, cool. So we have something right here. It's going to require us to set up some pieces, some prefabs. And this is where we should put them. So let's have different prefab. Let's have like 3 different prefabs for now. Of course, like quickly create them. How big is a plane? A plane is 10 meters in length. And since the pivot point right here is kind of bad, we're gonna have to put it inside of something else. And here we go. Okay. That is piece number 1. Let's have a piece number 2. Test for the index 1. This one's going to be a little bit bigger, and let's actually try to reduce the scale, or the length, sorry. So 0.5 sounds good, which in the end puts us to a length of 5. And finally, one last piece to test it out. Test 2. This one could be say I don't know, really just anything. Alright, that's gonna be test number 3 right here. Let's actually make sure it's on minus 3.3. Okay, so if we have a look right here at why is this not working? If we have a look right here, we have clean objects. They're not so clean, I just realized. Oh, there we go. Now that's a good number. So minus 125. Okay. So we have test 0, which is at, you know, like it's a clean object right now. Everything's on default values. This one is also clean if we disregard the size of this thing. We can also change it right here. Go under the plane, then modify it. But all the parent object are clean, and they have their pivot point set to this place. So if we go like, oh, I'd like to spawn piece number 2 or number 1, take any piece you just want to spawn it. Well, you put it at 0, 0, and 0, and then so you have like some kind of position. So you know that the last piece was 0.25. You're now at 0. Was it 0.25? It was actually 2.5. So here you are. Just realized I was on the wrong axis actually. Was I on the wrong axis this whole time? That would suck if I was. And I was on the wrong axis. Amazing. Wow. Okay, let's swap these over from negative value to positive value. Hey guys, this is actually why this is a process I go through every time when I want to make like those videos, those long tutorial series. It's a really painful process to go through, but it's the first time I actually stream it and take you through my struggles. Cool. So we have clean pieces now. I'm going to be putting a piece component on every single one of them. So piece. Now the length of this one, we said it was 10. The length of this one was 5, and the length of the last one was, I don't even know, 2.5. Okay, 2.5. let's store them all right in here. Eventually they're going to be stored as prefab, but right now they're not. Then quickly go back right here. I'm going to make sure that every object I spawn is going to be beneath the parent object. So geo transform set parent is going to be equal to transform, because the object is actually on top of my level. Right now it's not doing anything. I'll go in a update, temporary update, private void update, and say if input get key down, say I press on the button R, random key, then we're going to go ahead and just generate a piece. Let's try this out. It works. It actually works. Are we spawning all the kind of pieces? Yes, we are. And it's really just as simple as that. Alright, let's have a look at the comments real quick. I just realized that my camera is really in a bad angle. It's not my profile right here. I'm just kidding. Put that back over here. There we go. Now we can see some sunlight. It's actually raining here in Quebec. Okay. Please switch length to length. I will. Thank you for pointing that out. I don't know. I'm stupid. So LENGTH. GTH. There we go. Thanks for pointing it out. I'm really these are the words I struggle the most with, like length, width, all the kind of stuff. It's okay, guys. Is there a tutorial out there to use a database? Yeah, there is a couple that teach you how to use SQLite with Unity. It's pretty good, actually. Look up SQLite. Please make one car simulation game with steering control. I am sorry, I can't. I mean, not yet. Not yet. I gotta finish up with Surfer first, then look into multiplayer. Hey, you have some crazy shortcuts. How did you just switch to the bottom lines with the top line in one click? You hold Alt. So I'm holding Alt on my keyboard right now, and I'm just going like this, up, down, with the arrow keys. And sometimes you swap more lines, so you go like this. You hold Shift. So I want to move all of these. You hold Shift, select these three, then Alt, then you go up, and you just play around with that. And I'm rusty on shortcuts. Like I work all week on the Mac, and all my shortcuts I like they're all messed up right now in my head. But yeah, there's way more. Alvin, can you start using SQLite? Yeah, you should actually look into SQLite. That's fine. Hey, I'm new to programming. Is C# a good start for game developing? C# is, in my opinion, not the best game. I mean, that would be me saying that something is the best would just like create controversy. I think it's the best because we have Unity Engine, and Unity Engine is going to help you do something you want to do. So just pick up anything that you want to. If you want to create a website first, no, C# is not the best. Just go with what you want to do, really. And once you pick up one technology, then the next one is going to be easier to pick up, and then the third one is going to be even easier to pick up, and it just goes on from here. Like it takes really, like for me, I picked up Ruby on Rails 2 weeks ago, in about 3 days, which was a little bit too much. I was slacking, but it was it's simple to pick up stuff once you already know other technologies. I just got here and I have no clue what he's doing. It's okay. You don't have to understand. We're just playing with level generation for the Subway Surfer game. So currently what we have is just like some default prefab right here we've made. They're not even prefab, they're just pieces of LAN, and we can spawn them by pressing on X or R. And I just realized that I messed them up right here, but it's okay. Here we go. Oh, actually, did it not save my value? It didn't save my value, so I need to save these as prefab like as soon as possible. This one was 10, this one was 5, this one was 2.5. Oh, it didn't save them because I changed the length to the proper way to write it. That's why. Let's drag and drop those back into the prefab folder like this and try to spawn them now. We get something continuous. Now, all we really need to do at that point is make sure we update this thing. So, transform.position is equal to vector3 is plus equal. Let's do a plus equal in this one. Vector3 dot forward, and we're going to move at this very slow speed at first. That's actually quite fast. I didn't do time the delta time. And we just realized that we have to go back. That time, the delta time. We're moving at 1 meter a second. And as you can tell, it just creates some really bad glitches. So let's see if we can actually fix those. Just after reading the comments, of course. Oh, I know why. Because we're using position when we have to be using the local position. So I'll be swapping this line over and do a .local position. There we go. All fix, like nothing happened, no bugs. It's moving forward. Let's keep on reading. So I just got here, have no clue what's going on. So okay, cool. Just learn a basic first. Expert shortcut is control plus arrow key up or down. That helps you. What? Wait, why? What's this? Oh, it's actually to go up and down. Interesting. Oh, guys, I didn't announce it or anything, but we now have this Discord channel, which is quite cool. There's like even people posting my face right here. Amazing. I should be looking at it a little bit more often, but we're on Discord. If you guys want to tune in afterward, I actually look at it way more than my Facebook messages. We have the link. It's in the description, actually in the YouTube chat, and in the description. I just realized. Okay, my biggest fear is a player getting into the end of the... Okay, my biggest fear is a player getting to the end of Out Infinite Runner. I'm not quite sure what you mean. My biggest fear is cockroach. Me too. Do you have a very beginner C# game developing tutorial on your channel? I do have a very beginner one. Let me just pull it up real quick. You guys can see my YouTube feed, like what things I look at. It's okay. I'm not ashamed. In the playlist, there is this one right here, which is like in my opinion, nothing is good
Coding
enough.
your own games?
But that one was a good start, I guess. I'm gonna be linking it. It's the most noob friendly one I've done. So like from the beginning, if you don't know anything, I think this one can help you out. Cool. Let's go back to coding this thing just a little bit more before we head into debugging a little bit. If you guys have like any issues or things I can help you with. So where were we? Oh, we should actually try and implement this thing into the other scene soon. But right now, I'll get rid of these. I don't want them in my scene, so I want them as prefab. Is it still gonna work? That is my question. It actually still works. So we've got this covered. The speed has to be sent from the player motor. Should it be sent by the player? Nah. Let's get rid of this one. Let's get rid of these actually. We're gonna have a public float speed, and this one's gonna be taking care of moving the level for us. So 1 meter a second is definitely not fast enough for level 1. We'll do 3 meters a second. So times speed times time the delta time. Okay. Now we have to look at where the camera is right now, because the camera is going to be the one telling us do we need to spawn more. So I'm going to be keeping track of the camera in a private transform camera container. And in the awake, I'll see something like camera container is equal to camera.main.transform, which is going to give us the reference we need. And then, so we have the move the camera, actually move the level. Now we need to check, should we spawn a new piece? So Carmelo says, my biggest fear is the player reaching the end of our game, and I'm trying to work with a moving background just like Subway Surfer, but it's a lot difficult to spawn a moving platform seamlessly. Why do you find it difficult? Let me know why you find it difficult. Maybe we can find like something to help you out, or maybe a new technique to spawn them. So we don't need this anymore. Simply gonna clean up a little bit of my code. Current X does not exist. That is true. It doesn't exist, and we don't care. Hey, hello from Poland. Hello from Canada again. I really don't know what to insert to these, so I'm just gonna be saying stupid stuff. Are we currently at 3? Yeah, we're at speed of 3, so it's not fast enough. Maybe a speed of 5 could be good, level 1. So I'm going to head back in my level manager, 5, and should we spawn a piece? You know what, at the beginning, let's have a for loops for int I, or check this out guys, even better. If you don't want to have to write your own for loop, you type in for, then hit tab twice. So for int I is equal to 0, as long as it's smaller than 10, let's generate like 10 pieces. Right off the get-go. Hello from your toilet, that's pretty good. I'll use that next time. Okay, so we have 10 pieces generated from the get-go. Private const float. Now we need to actually have a threshold. So when exactly should we spawn a new piece? We need to know, like, what is a good distance? Distance before spawn would be equal to, say, 30 meters. Might be good. I don't know. I know can see your face in the face cam. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just realized that I'm actually standing out of the range. I'll code like this, guys. I'm just kidding. Let's actually go back on that side. My wire doesn't go that far. As you can tell, I'm really used to streaming. That's the thing I do the most. I'm just kidding. Alright, so back to this thing. Every single frame, we're going to be looking, so how far is our camera from the spawn point. So we're gonna check. So distance in between camera and spawn point. Okay, we need a new name for that. So spawn point distance is gonna be fine. And how do we go about doing this? So we know the spawn point is further than the camera, so we can say the spawn point, so z spawn or z position minus camera or camera container dot transform dot z. This way we can know the distance in between the two, and if this one is actually bigger, so if z is bigger than our constant distance before spawn, then let's go ahead and generate a piece. That's not going to work, I just realized. I don't know if it's going to work actually. We're gonna find out. There seem to be a lot more than 10 pieces in here. Actually, there seem to be a lot more of 10 pieces in here. I think we're going crazy, guys. Yeah, that's not gonna work out. Okay. Fine. So Z position goes up. Does it really go up? We do a plus equal on it, so yeah, it does go up. Then minus camera container transform position dot z. The camera position never really moves. That's the thing. It just never really moves. And I'm afraid that the Z position doesn't move either. I'm having some kind of brain fart right now, so I'm going to be debugging my data. That's my sign to say you need a break. And let's take our operation right here. There we go. Wrap all of this into a toString. So nothing ever moves, so that's the boring part. Nothing ever moves because, well, no data ever moves. Okay, simple stuff. Basically, we're not using any data that moves. That is due because our z distance doesn't move. Okay, that's fine. We should be using the last piece that has been spawned dot his position. What a simple problem that I can't even fix. Wrap all of this. How about that? Let's have a look at the comment if I can get some stupid help from when I'm too bad to actually face this. My face cam is out of place. Yep, fix that. Why another endless runner? That's a good question. I think that's just because people wanted to have like a Subway Surfer. I don't know. I'm not like a big fan of it either. I'm just kidding. So where's my camera now? Right here. That's fine. Mouse over Unity window, press Shift and Space for window full screen. Hey, that's actually quite useful. Whoa. That's actually a really good keybind. I'll use that from now on. My programming stream is really chill. I try to be as chill as possible. Actually, these one are not so chill. The one tomorrow is going to be a lot better. Can you just skip to movement lane swapping part? We actually did the movement lane swapping. Are we going to make a curve effect? Yes, of course. Hey, what's up, Alex? Yeah, we need to use a object pooler. This thing is going to be a lot. This is going to be way too expensive for a mobile phone if we don't use a object pooler. So you could do vector distance, last piece position, camera position. Yeah, that's exactly what we should be doing. I just like for some reason I can't seem to figure out why my brain doesn't compute that. So let's have a quick look right here. So Z position is equal to say 65 at the beginning minus this thing is never going to move. We don't need it. And then on top of that, the other object is moving. The parent object is moving towards us. So what is the debug.log of that? I'm just curious to see it. Whoops. Okay, so if that thing is bigger than, if we do a plus, ooh. That's gonna work fine. Okay, so here it is. That's the equation I wanted. Now, is 30 meters gonna be enough? Actually, it's not gonna work. I am pissed now. If spawn point distance is smaller than this, then we go ahead. Okay, now that is fixed. I'm going to increment the speed so we don't have to wait here forever. And here we go. So we just keep spawning like that. Now, obviously, we're gonna need some kind of object pooler. Gonna be doing that not in this episode, however, but yeah, this is something we're gonna need. Maybe increment the distance as well. Is that too small? Can we do a shift space? We can only do a shift space on the scene. I have a feeling that 30 meter is far enough, but right now we see it. But later on, once we have our curve mechanic, then I don't think we're gonna have any problem looking at it. So I'm actually going to be stopping the whole code part of this, and I'm gonna go in my messages, grab the art asset, and start implementing them just a little bit. Going back to like a more chill mode since my brain doesn't compute. Happens quite often actually. Let's see. Sorry guys, it shouldn't be that long. I'm just trying to find out where I put my messages. I'm really bad. I lost my messages. Whoopsie. So he sent me this last week. Hey, you know what? Let's read some comments while I figure this thing out. I'm gonna pull this window here. Hey, what is he trying to do, guys? I was actually just making this level work. So we have something that spawns by itself now. Is the stream going to be saved? Yeah, the stream is always going to be saved. On YouTube, I don't bother, like, I don't really bother on YouTube deleting my stream. I do that on Twitch because on Twitch I mess up a little bit too much. Yeah, stream will be saved. Can you create games like Fingers? I don't know what Finger is. Can you create a game like Overwatch? No, I can't. Just being realistic here. I wish I could. That would be so fun. But not today. Alright, well, I lost my message with the art, but I'll have it implemented next week, that's for sure. Going to push that on my collab real quick. My friend who's making the art is also in collab, so he might actually help me out through that channel. So I'm going to be shutting this off for a moment. Let's have a look at what you guys are up to. Hello from Turkey. Does anybody want to like do anything in terms of code? We're entering like a debugging session before I go and do my things for Saturday. You can because you don't have enough time, or because you can't. You haven't learned it yet. So Jason, I don't want to make Overwatch because I don't have enough time. And the whole, like, I did not learn it. I don't really think it's a problem. Even though you don't know how to do something, I think you'll just pick it up if you have the proper time and also budget to do it. If I was to make an Overwatch game, I need a lot of people, and I'd also need a lot of money to just make sure everybody is able to live during that time. So no, we can't create Overwatch. Can I post the scripts on Discord? Yeah, sure. All the scripts are going to be on Discord. I'm going to be under which tab? We don't really have a tab for that. I'll just put that under Fun Day for now. So I'm on Discord. Link is in the description of the stream, and we're going to be posting the scripts. Yeah, I'm an Age of Empire fan. I mean, the game is from 1999, if I can recall, and it's still pretty good. It's like I play Super Smash Bros. Melee as well, a game from 2001, and I'm having more fun than than most of the other games I play. Hey, the expert guy, I'm actually going to zip it up. It's a lot easier for me to just zip it up, so that's what I'll do. If I can just find the game. Where is my game at? My computer is getting full of all these projects. So Paratron, here it is. Add to archive, and I'll be posting that directly on Discord. I don't know why Discord goes into like this mini screen sometimes. It's annoying. Here it is. You spent 1 hour on the tag problem just because like you had difference in your tag. Hey, it happens all the time, even to the best of us. Yeah, I did a Snake game in the past. It's really not that exciting, to be honest, but it was really all about learning Unity engine and how components interact with each other. Yeah, with your friend it's better. Actually, I've reinstalled Age of Empire yesterday because one of my friends just hit me up and he's like, hey, we need to play this game. So I was like, oh, I mean, sure. I was expecting a game that would last like 30 minutes. Turned out it was like a 1 hour, 30-minute game. I missed my sleep schedule. That's why I'm so like tired today. I need your curve effect for my current project. We haven't really done the curve effect. I know that Pika has done one. If you go under the general tab, I think he posted a picture of it yesterday. There's a lot of chat going on here. It's amazing. Yeah, he has one. Look at this. This guy is already more advanced than us. But yeah, he has the curve effect. Maybe just tune in Discord. Ask him for it if he's willing to give it out. But eventually, if he's not, that's fine. If he's not, but if he is, that's cool. If he isn't, doesn't really matter. We can create one in the future. Can you please show me how to animate a line renderer? I remember answering your question on Discord. Actually, the approach I would have is actually have a trail renderer, not a line renderer, because the trail renderer or the line renderer is going to be something you need to create. So you need to create a line here and then another line there, and just following your touches. But that's really annoying to do, and it's going to get expensive on the CPU. While you could just have I'm gonna go into the fun day section, my fun day project. Let's have a look at this. Create a quick script. Mouse trail. So what I'll be doing with this is try to help you with your problem. Simple stuff. Public trail renderer. I'll just call R private void update. Then we're going to be taking the mouse position. So actually, if I'm holding the mouse, so if input get mouse button 0, then R.transform that position is equal to input.mouse button. Mouse position. Okay, I can't speak. Doesn't matter. Let's create your trail renderer right here. So a empty game object. I'll call it trail. Add our mouse trail. Now we need to create a trail renderer, and I'll just add it right here. So that's really what I'm telling you to use. I'm really just telling you to use this thing right here, that is the trail renderer instead. It's gonna give you this kind of result. If I can find it, it should be right there. Okay. Boom. So when you're dragging your mouse around, this is the effect you're gonna get. Now you have a lot of settings on this thing, like the duration of it. I believe time is going to be, say, 0.5 seconds. We don't want it to be too annoying. You end up with something like this. That can look quite cool in your mobile game if you're just like following the input, the touch, instead of using this thing. The mouse. You can also reduce the size of your trail, as you can tell. A lot more cool. Increase the width. Why not? And add, of course, your own material. Right now we have none. We have no material, but you can add. Let's add a sprite default. Why not? Whoa, that's cool. But yeah, you just play around with this a lot better than the line renderer. Thanks, but I used trail renderer. It was not working. Why exactly was it not working? Can you let me know exactly, like, what's the problem with it? Did you not get it to show anything, or? Hey Zeno, do I have any script to speed forward physics in an accurate way? No, I don't have like any scripts to fast forward. You really have to use time.delta time and time.timescale. You modify timescale and then make sure that every object you're moving using physics, make sure they're actually in the fix update. This is really important when you're playing with physics, because that's the update you want. That's the update that's actually being updated at the same time as the physics. So you're looking to change all your objects that are moved through physics with a fix update instead. Let's see, Age of Empire, yes. Yes, I'm an old person. Age of Empire is still a good game. Am I a robot? Sometimes I'm a robot, sometimes I try to have feelings. Both quite suck, to be honest. What about turning a game like XCOM? I can't get into that topic. That's like too complicated for the amount of time we have left. Does the tutorial multiplayer checker work on mobile phone? The mechanic works, but the whole online part is not going to work. So the whole online part has to be done in a different multiplayer service. If you're using Unity service, like the high-level API, you could actually achieve that quite fine. But I remember that during the multiplayer checkers, I wanted to use sockets. So we use sockets instead, and that's Win sockets, so only for Windows, basically. Actually, it wasn't WinSocket. It was just like C#.NET sockets. So they would work on Linux too, but not mobile. That's the whole point. The code you put in making the joystick doesn't work for me. I'm sorry. I mean, I need more information to help you out with that. Okay? So you want to move the trail back to vector 3 0 position, but it just shows abrupt and show off. What about something like this? Or air dot, is there a reset? There's a clear. Yeah, there's a clear. You can use a clear. So I don't know how this component works. I guess there's some other things we can find out as well. When I release it, it just clears. I have to go, Fabio. Thank you for watching. I also have to go really soon, so you're not gonna miss much. Create a Slenderman kind of game. Again, I'm sorry, we have to deal with the Subway Surfer first. We have the multiplayer stuff coming on the sides. I don't want to talk about it too much. And also, this thing is the gym. So tomorrow we're gonna be working on the gym and have fun with this. That's like a character controller with a state machine behind it, so we can create cool games with this. I really hope that our fun day is gonna turn into something really cool. Alright guys, it's almost been 2 hours. I'm actually going to shut off the stream now and actually go do my things, my Saturday things. Maybe do a little bit of longboard. The sky just cleared up. So, we're gonna see what I do with that. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will catch you tomorrow. We have a live stream tomorrow where we actually play with this gym right here. So, hope you guys have a good day. And also, I will see you guys later. Cheers.